Hey guys, for those of you that are new to the channel, my name's Luke, this is Motor Minds Productions, and today I am driving the 2017 Ford Fiesta ST. Now this car has always been super popular because of the fact that it is just this teeny little hatchback that has so much unbelievable performance credentials. This car is an insane performance car, and what we're going to do today is figure out, does it really live up to that hype? Because I've always heard about these cars being ridiculous performers, and like everyone's like, oh my god, the Fiesta ST is like one of the best hot hatches you can buy, yada yada yada. The list goes on of things I've heard about this car. And to be honest, I never like fully believed it. I thought like, it's just a Fiesta, like it's probably fun, but it can't really be that great of a performance car like everyone says it is. But I'm happy to confirm that this thing is actually one serious little racer. So today in this review, we're going to talk a bit more about it. So let's start about the styling. I think the first thing you'll notice about this particular car that I'm driving is the orange paint. This is an unbelievably loud color. It's this dark burnt orange, and it pops like nothing else. You can also get this car in a blue and a green. There's all sorts of cool poppy options. They really wanted to make this car stand out with the paint color, and this burnt orange effect definitely works. Now, you can definitely tell that this is a Fiesta hatchback by looking at it. It definitely shares a lot of the similar design cues that the standard Fiesta does, but the thing is, it looks a lot more aggressive, obviously. Up front, you have this mesh black grille that really contrasts well with the orange paint. You also have a bit of a lip spoiler that makes the front end look a bit more aggressive. And on the sides, you have these sills that run along. It's basically a body kit that makes the car look lower and wider and a bit more sculpted. And I really like the lines that run along the doors into the rear. It really makes the car look a lot lower than it is and a little bit wider. It gives it this low, wide, more aggressive stance. And I think the headlights work well with that too, because they're pulled back into the side of the car and make it look sleek, more toned, more pulled back. Now, when you move to the back of the car, it's quintessential hot hatch. You have a huge spoiler on top of the hatch, followed by this nice rear diffuser, which is honestly just for show, but it looks real cool. And then you have dual exhausts, both in the same location on the right side of the car, that I just think bring this car together and make it look like a serious little racer. I think it looks hot. It is a real hot hatch. It's not a warm hatch, it's a hot hatch. And completing the look are the wheels, which are these, it's like this, man, how do you describe it? It's like this dark silver aluminum look that it just contrasts so well. You have the orange, you have the black grille, you have the body kit, and then you have those wheels that just look awesome. It just really completes the look. So let's talk a little bit about the powertrain of the Fiesta ST, the thing that you guys really care about. Now, this car has a 1.6 liter four-cylinder engine. Now, you're probably thinking 1.6 liters, that's pretty small. And you'd be right, it's a very small engine, but it has a turbocharger, and that means 197 horsepower in this puny little hatchback. This car weighs about 2,500 pounds, 2,600 pounds, and it has 197 horsepower, and it's fast. It does 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, which honestly feels a lot quicker than that when you're behind the wheel. Like, this car feels like a freaking little missile. It's ridiculous. You just point where you want to go, hit the gas, and you're gone. Now, there is a little bit of turbo lag below 3,000 RPM. Honestly, no one's home in this engine below 3,000 RPM. But once you do hit 3 grand, that turbo kicks in, and it kicks in hard. Like, you can feel it. It's not a gradual kick in. It's like you're just chilling and then boom, turbo. That's just how this engine likes to roll. Now, you do have an intake resonator like you do in the Ford Focus ST, and that makes all the difference, because nowadays a lot of the cars you drive, they sound good because of their exhaust note. This car sounds good because of its intake noise. You can hear the engine work, and it just sounds great. It's this low, deep burble. It sounds masculine, and honestly, it sounds like a much bigger engine than a 1.6. Heck, the engine in my Focus is a 2 liter, and it doesn't sound nearly this good. Now, you buy this car because it's supposed to be fun to drive, right? Now, this car wouldn't be fun to drive if you could get it in an automatic, which is why Ford only offered it in a 6-speed manual. Now, this manual has fairly long throws, but it's so direct. You can feel it just lock straight into gear. It's so easy to just shift gears, and all the throws are nice and linear. They're exactly where you'd think they would be. and honestly, it just drives great. And I mean, to be honest, yeah, it may have a little bit longer throws than you would want, but it just goes into gear so nicely, so sweetly, that you don't really care. The clutch is nice and linear. It engages like precisely in the middle of the travel. And honestly, it's a very easy engage point to find and play around on. But you do need to remember the fact that you don't have a lot of power when you're first starting off. And it does feel like a 1.6 liter engine down low, so you need to be careful with your clutch modulation and whatnot when you're starting this car off. Now, let's talk about the driving experience, the one thing you've been dying to hear about with this car. And I'm happy to inform this car drives stupidly well. It's ridiculous just how well this car drives. The steering inputs are freaking telepathic. This car does what I want it to do before I even think about what I want to do. It's ridiculous. It just goes into corners with such a tenacious amount of grip. It's ridiculous. And it's a front-wheel drive car, but I'm pretty sure when they designed it, the lead designer was just like, you know what? Understeer. We don't really like that. Let's just get rid of it. So they did. There's no understeer in this car. None. It will not let go. I can stick it into a corner and it just bites and grabs on like honestly nothing I've ever driven. I've never felt a car that's front wheel drive that can hold its line so well. And I'm sure a lot of that is because it's a low weight car. So I mean, it makes it a lot easier for these tires to grip on. And Jesus, it just drives so well. I mean, the steering, it's beautifully weighted, and you would never think that it's front wheel drive because you don't have any torque steer. It just handles so neutrally. And like I said, razor sharp precision. You just stick it into a turn, you feel everything. I can actually tell what the front wheels are trying to do. It's an unbelievably good steering setup. I wish more cars would just have steering that is this unbelievably good feeling. And there's hardly any body roll. That's one thing that I do love about this car. The suspension, it's compliant over bumps. I mean, yes, it's a little hard, but it's nothing that's gonna really upset you or make you uncomfortable. And it just makes this car corner so damn flat, it's insane. It just hugs its line, sits flat on the road, and I just love the way this car drives. It's pretty quick, has lots of grip, and just handles like a dream. Now, let's talk a little bit about the interior features and comfort on this car. Now, it's a 5-seat hatchback. Honestly, it doesn't have a whole lot of rear space, but I mean, I don't think you're really gonna care about that. Your backseat passengers can live with it. Now, one thing that is super cool about the interior of this car are the optional Recaro seats that I have. Now, they're partial leather with cloth inserts that are the same orange color as the exterior, which I think look great. It creates an awesome contrast with the black in this interior, and they are super comfortable. They hold you into place like I've never really experienced a bucket seat like this before, and to be honest, they just hug you so well. When you're booking it through turns, you stay perfectly upright in the seat, and it really makes you feel like you're in so much control, which is awesome. And like I said, they look great. This is a very well-styled seat. Now, the rest of the interior, I mean, you can definitely tell it's from a standard Fiesta, but it doesn't feel that cheap. It has a nice soft touch dashboard, and the steering wheel is nice and leather wrapped. It has perforated leather where you hold on to it, and it just feels so good in your hand, especially when you're really pushing it. It really does feel great. Now, one thing that I don't really like are the way the air vents look. They look a little bit cheaper than I would like, but they do have a cool like silver aluminum paint on them, which makes it look pretty sporty. Now, the center stack, honestly, it's pretty easy to use. It's the same sync system that Ford has in most of their products. This is Sync 3. My car has Sync 2, and I must say that Sync 3 is one hell of an improvement. The graphics are much better, the screen logic is a lot better, and it's a lot quicker to respond. Now, you have navigation and all that good stuff. Actually, in this car, I don't think you do have navigation. I take that back. But you do have audio, phone, you have your apps, and I think under apps, yeah, you can like download mobile apps to your phone, and I mean not from to your phone, but like to the actual screen and all that. And I mean, it's 6.5 inches. It works well. It is a little bit of a reach away from the driver, though. That is one thing. Now, this car does have automatic climate control, which is nice. The controls don't look super high end, but I mean, it's a Fiesta. You aren't going to get a super high end product with that, you know. And then you also have heated seats, which obviously just makes it that much more comfortable. Now, you can get a moonroof. This car doesn't have it, and all that good stuff. And one thing that does kind of bother me is that there's no backup camera. Rear visibility isn't bad, but a backup camera would be nice. Now, let's just kind of wrap this review up. This car is just one hell of a car to drive. It just handles so well, and you're really not paying for this performance that much at the pump. It gets 26 city, 33 highway, which is not that bad at all. You also have fold down rear seats, so you can fit a lot of cargo in it. Honestly, with the seats up, there's not a whole lot of room, but with the seats down, you can fit a lot of stuff in here. And I just think this car is one of the most perfect cars for someone that's looking for something fun, sporty, and super practical. I mean, this car, for what it is, it's a pretty damn practical car, but it is a serious little racer. I've probably said little racer 3 times, but that's what I think of when I drive this car, you know? It just drives like a little track car on the road. Now, let's talk about this car's personality. And this car, oh boy, does it have a personality. It's like, how would I describe it? It's like a little mouse that has like a machine gun and is like trying to like go out and go into battle. This car is like punching way above its class, and it's succeeding. It's ridiculous. This car just is eager to get out there and have some fun. All this car wants to do is get chucked into a corner. It wants to be like run out to the red line. It wants to go out there and freaking demolish a back road and have fun doing it. Every time I drive this car, I feel like it's grinning ear to ear. And I just think, like I said, mouse with a machine gun. It's little, it's small, it's kind of cutesy, but it's also super aggressive and super sporty all at the same time. I think it's a perfect combination, and I'm really sad that Ford isn't bringing the next generation ST to the United States. I don't know why they're not doing that. I mean, maybe there's not that much of a market for it. You don't see a whole lot of these cars, but honestly, it's just such a great vehicle. And to be brutally honest, I kind of want to sell my Focus and get one of these. Not sure how realistic that is. Not sure if I can sell the Focus for the same amount of money as one of these costs. But, I mean, you know exactly what I'm going to do as soon as I finish this review. I'm going home, getting on cars.com, and browsing the listings, because this car is that good. It's a really good car. If you want a hot hatch that just drives like none other, I mean, honestly, I think this drives better than the Golf GTI. I'm just going to be straight up and say that. Obviously, they don't really directly compete. The GTI is bigger, it's more luxurious, a little more upscale, but in terms of raw driving experience, I think this car is more fun. Now, I haven't driven a Focus ST, but I think I might be able to get to drive one pretty soon. I'm really, really hopeful about that. So, as always, thank you so much for watching Motor Minds. I hope you found this video informative and engaging. If you like the content, please subscribe. It helps us out in more ways than you could ever imagine. It really, really does. And thank you very much for Duncan Automotive Network lending us this car. Really appreciate it. There are a bunch of great guys down there. Jerry McCann, the sales manager at Duncan Ford Lincoln Mazda, was kind enough to lend me this car for the review, and we hope to be making many more videos with Duncan in the future. So if you guys are looking for a car in the Blacksburg, Virginia area, definitely check them out. This orange ST is still there. They also have a blue RS, which looks absolutely ridiculous. It's an RS, I mean, let's be real. But yeah, check them out. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys tune in and watch our next video.